Hello everybody, Triple here, and welcome back to the next season of the ATBA. This is actually season 14, and I'll be honest, I wasn't too sure if they'd let me back after all the war crimes I've committed last two seasons. And I really wanted to be in this season, so I just grabbed one of the packs and ran. And we're just gonna see what kind of mons we get here. Starting off with the first card, we have Garchomp. Garchomp is actually a pretty nice first pick. I had 5th pick overall, and of course Guiding Fire and Dragapult, Iron Valiant, all of those just got instantly taken. And I was looking around on what to get, and I decided to go with Garchomp. Garchomp is because it's pseudo-legendary, right? It's a strong Pokemon, it's a fast Pokemon. Ground Dragon is a strong typing. But also, last season kind of showed me how bulky this Pokemon can be. Because it's base 108 HP, then 95 defense and 85 special defense. I had a calc last season where my Primarina Moonblast would not kill a Garchomp. Like, not even come close, like it did like 70%. And that just kind of blew me out of the water. This one can be way bulkier than anything else, and I feel like overall Garchomp is one of those overall good Pokemon. It gets a pretty decent move pool. Of course, Earthquake and Outrage are pretty signature. Common set is Swords Dance and Scale Shield to buff your attack and speed. But then you also get both Spikes and Stealth Rocks, making it a pretty good hazard setter. Poison Gem, Iron Head, Liquidation, Fire coverage. You have Fire Blast, which is something people sometimes use. I can use Draco Meteor Fire Blast special set because its base 80 special attack isn't too bad. Rough Skin as an ability is really solid. Of course, Sentinel is banned because of evasiveness, but Rough Skin is a really good ability overall. Getting Chip, breaking sashes, paired with a Rocky Helmet, you can do really good things with that. And even stuff like Shadow Claw and Stone Edge and Fling even could come in very handy here. And like I said, it's just a pseudo-legendary. It's gonna be strong. I felt like this was a good first pick with everything else that was taken, because I had plans for like 2 Pokemon later down the line. And I wasn't really sure how to mesh that with some of the other Diamond tier Pokemon. For reference, you can only have 1 Diamond tier Pokemon. You can have as many of the Platinum tier, but Diamond you were limited to 1. So of course I wanted to pick one up right away. Yeah, Garchomp is a pretty good start to this draft. Grabbing the second card from this pack here, actually. And I think we hit pretty hard with this. Terrapagos is a really cool Pokemon to have in draft. And for one reason specifically. This Pokemon gets 1-2. Gets Aura Sphere, gets Bug Buzz, gets Dazzling Gleam, gets Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse, Earth Power, Energy Ball, Flamethrower, Flash Cannon, Ice Beam, Meteor Beam. Gets, of course, Store Power, Surf. Gets Thunderbolt. Gets its signature move. Where the fuck is its signature move? Terra Starstorm, which is a really powerful no drawback move. Like, it gets like every type, or almost every type of coverage. And that makes it very hard to prepare for. Of course, Terrapagos itself has not too many good stats, but its ability, its ability is pretty good. Terrapagos, of course, starts off as the baby form, but it gets Terra Shift. I know on the draft file it says that like regular Terrapagos, but Terra Shift always changes it into Terrestrial Terrapagos, which has good bulk, like 95 HP, 95 attack, 110 defense, 15 special attack, good special defense, and then 85 speed is a bit iffy, but Like, it's all round really solid. And it gets access to its ability Terra Shell. Terra Shell is basically multi-scale in that if it's full health, any attack it gets hit with is always resisted. Except ghost types it will stay just immune to. This allows me to set up like go for a rapid spin, go for a calm mind, go for a rock polish, and just like set up for free. Even go for like a rain dance if I need it. And if I get set up off, then it's very hard with the amount of coverage this Pokemon gets to switch into this properly. Usually it has coverage to deal with whatever. It's not ridiculously strong, but I feel like the utility of having like every type is a very, very strong factor here to count in. Also, Toxic is one that this Pokemon has access to. Rapid Spin is something this Pokemon has access to. So it has some pretty good support moves as well. And I think just overall, like, if I get this in a position where, like, I set up and I just sweep from there, because you don't have... I can prepare for most everything with this. So I feel like this is a very strong second addition to the team, and it's something I just was really interested in trying. So, yeah. Then, let's see, this one. Thunderous. Okay. I mean, this is kind of more of a support option, and I said this to a friend in a very good way. I drafted some cool / favorite stuff, and then just stuff to bail me out of bad situations. Thunderous is one of those, because it has Prankster, which is an incredible ability, and if something is sweeping me, I can just Thunder Wave, or like any other like Prankster move I can use to knock it down, stop it from sweeping. Like Swagger could be really good. Actually, I think Swagger's banned. And Youre Salac Berry is something I can do against a faster Pokemon. So this has so many options with Prankster. It is of course a flying type also, which is great for just a ground immunity. It is not weak to electric. I am getting kind of an ice weakness, but I mitigate that later, so that's fine. And again, Thunderous is just, it's a legendary Pokemon, so you can't really go wrong with it. 111 speed makes it decently fast, faster than most Pokemon. It's not ridiculously fast. That's kind of a theme about my whole draft. It's the Pokemon I get are not ridiculously like strong, but they're all around really good. And Thunderous is a great example for that. Of course, it is a nasty plot user who also gets Grass Knot and Sludge Bomb, so you can't really switch into its electric moves all too well, unless you have like a really specific Pokemon. And Psychics, Flash Cannon, Focus Blast, Dark Pulse, it gets some really good coverage. But then on the other side of the board, because this is just the 125 special attack, it has 115 attack with Defiant, which is a great ability that just shuts down all like stat lowering, so all Intimidates, all like Charms, all basic stat dropping moves, and moves that have it as secondary effect. I can get an attack buff on an already fast Pokemon, making this a good physical threat as well. Access to knockoff, massive, because you can just get rid of things. Plus, something this didn't have in previous gens is Windbolt Storm, which is the new signature move. Pretty powerful, 100 base power with a 20% chance to paralyze. So it's just better, but like slightly more accurate, slightly weaker Thunder, basically. And yeah, overall, really solid Pokemon. Kind of a one-trick, but also kind of not. And it just, like I said, it takes us, you have to give it a lot of respect, because Prankster can really fuck with faster Pokemon by just Thunder Waving them or just like annoying them. And I just really enjoy this type of support, where it's like really offensive but also still supportive. Speaking of really offensive and supportive, yeah, I mean, how could I not? We have Araquanid, one of my all-time favorite Pokemon. This is right in line with Arbolive and Comfey, and it's one of the strongest Pokemon ever made, in my opinion. Because a very simple thing, Water Bubble. Water Bubble is insane. Because it doubles water power, it makes you immune to burn, and it halves fire damage. That's heat proof, water veil, and adaptability all in one. The fact that this does 3 separate things is ridiculous. Of course, it also gives me sticky webs, which for my team is insane, because I have, like I said, I have a lot of pretty fast but not insanely fast Pokemon. So a sticky web supporter is huge for that. It gets some good like utility as well in like stuff like Lunge and Pounce, Skitter Smack, lowering stats, Mirror Coat returning special damage, and this thing is specially bulky. Like really, really specially bulky. 132 special defense. Add onto that we are running low tier Terra this season, meaning this is one of the Pokemon that is allowed to terrestrialize. Araquanid here has a Terra Water as its stab type, and then Terra Ground and Steel. Steel takes big advantage from Water Bubble's fire half damage, making it a really defensive Pokemon, giving me access to time to allow like Iron Defense or Infestation or stuff like that. Aqua Rain could make me really, really defensive with that. And Ground can take advantage of its other ability really well in Water Absorb, where I can become a Ground type and be immune to water, while also being super effective on grass via my bug moves. So if a grass type comes in, I can Leech Life it and be a big nuisance to that, basically. Say like a Meowscarada comes in, it can't safely like Flower Trick me, because what if I live and just Leech Life, kill it, and get all my HP back? So I feel like this, like I said, Sticky Web's great for my team, but this offensively is kind of ridiculous. It also has like some weird situational moves. Like, let's see here. Rain Dance is one that's pretty good for my team overall. Entrainment can shut down opposing abilities. Icy Wind can lower speed. Scary Face can also lower speed. Soak to remove stab and make them weak to my Thunderous. So it has some utility to it as well. Endeavor is a pretty cool one that I kind of want to use. And if nothing else, this just has Terra, Water, Stab, Water Bubble, Liquidation. Which I don't think there's many Pokemon that enjoy taking that. And that's a really big deal for my team in general. Alright, already halfway through the pack. We can get 6 more cards here. Hoping still to get a pretty rare one. And that is a Comfey. So it's not rare, but it's powerful. Comfey is, of course, the only Pokemon with the ability Triage, which makes it insane. Comfey is the most broken Pokemon ever created. There is no if, whats, or buts about it. This Pokemon gets +3 priority on its attacking, its normal attacking, which is ridiculously strong. Draining Kiss has good stab, of course. Giga Drain also gets priority. Synthesis, Leech Seed. There's so many moves that just heal and get priority, which is kind of all you need with this Pokemon. And the thing with that, right, is Calm Mind priority spam is kind of the main set. And it's a really, really powerful set. As I said this a lot of times in videos, you just need Comfey plus a ground type. Ground type covers everything that Comfey can't hit, and Garchomp does that and then some. So with my team putting heavy pressure on the things that Comfey can't hit well, Comfey can come in late game and just Draining Kiss, Giga Drain, sweep. And to help with that, this is my second Terra Captain. I chose these back to back, and I can't be happier about it, because I have Terra Fairy, which of course, great buff to its Draining Kiss. I had to because it needs one stab and it's a pure Fairy type. And then Terra Fire is really good against Steel types. Also helps me resist Fire types, and allows me like extra time to set up, because the sudden type change does mess things up. One of the things that this can be really used for is support moves like Trick Room, or even just Trick or Taunt. And like I said, the type change lets me set up pretty safely. One that's even more so that is Terra Poison, which is way more of a defensive type for this, but it makes me immune against being poisoned. Makes me resist most hits. The only thing is it doesn't help against Steels, but Steels have to fear that Terra Fire. Terra Ground is a bit of a problem, but then again, I have priority Giga Drain. So do you really want to bring your ground type in on this? Especially considering that one of the ground types that resists it is in my hands. So I feel like this is gonna be a very strong Pokemon this season. There's a lot of Pokemon that are pretty weak to it. And like I said, it's busted. It has good all-around stats. The only thing kind of lacking is its HP, which is 51. But it makes up for that by being able to invest all of its points into HP, because it never needs speed. So, really powerful Pokemon to go next. At this point, I drafted like so many of my favorite / interesting Pokemon, and I was looking at what was left, and one of the Pokemon that surprisingly hasn't gotten chosen yet was a gold tier in Skeledirge. Skeledirge is a powerful Pokemon, of course. Torchon is ridiculous as a move. But most of all, this is another one of those bailout options, because this gets Unaware. Unaware is a really, really powerful ability, especially in draft, because you have to prepare for Unaware. Meaning you can't just mindlessly spam setup, because I have a Pokemon that's immune to your setup. Torchon is ridiculous. It's a really good bulky defensive wall, which pairs very well with my Reckoning, because you have the physical defense on Skeledirge, being immune / resisting against things like grass and bug and stuff like that. Being immune to fighting is fighting and normal. And then you have Araquanid, which is a Spadef wall, which can also come in on ground types, which Skeledirge is weak to. Can come in on water type moves, which Skeledirge is weak to. And those two together just make a really hard duo to prepare for. Good coverage and stuff like Alluring Voice and Shadow Ball and Scorching Sands. And overall, like, this Pokemon is just powerful. It doesn't really... This is one of my bailout options. It's a starter. It's solid all around. It's a really powerful special attacker thanks to that Torchon. Get some useful support moves here and there. Stuff like Roar is pretty nice to have handy when you need it. And overall, like, you have to prepare for this. You have to respect Skeledirge. So having this go round 6 is kind of ridiculous. I wanted to complete the Water, Fire, Grass core. Of course, my Grass type is next, so yeah. But I feel like Skeledirge is a pretty good addition to my team. It's a more defensive mon, where every other one of my mons have been more offensive. and overall just really, really powerful. Only 4 chances left for a good card. So, let's see this one. We get Hisuian Lilligant. Really, really good Pokemon. 105 speed, but it has that signature Victory Dance. Victory Dance is kind of nutty because it's just Quiver Dance on the physical side. On a Pokemon with Hustle, meaning you can hit really hard. One thing this Pokemon does have now is access to Triple Axle, which is of course a really, really good Ice-type move. Ice Fighting Grass kind of hits most things on the field. Of course it doesn't hit fire types, but then again I have Garchomp, I have Skeledirge, I have Araquanid. I am prepared for fire types. So having this handy is really nice. Plus, I have a pretty bad Sun matchup. There's one player who has Mono Sun, and this kind of prepares me a lot for that. Because of course Chlorophyll doubles my speed in the Sun, meaning I outspeed most other Sun users. Stuff like Venusaur I'm faster than, stuff like Gouging Fire I'm faster than. So this just kind of solves my Sun matchup and lets me like really hard hit a lot of Pokemon. Poison Jab is a pretty nice coverage move. If anything, I have Healing Wish here, which is a ridiculously cool move to have in draft. Having like a Garchomp putting so much work and then bringing it back with Healing Wish. Ice Spinner, Close Combat. This is one of the few Pokemon that gets X Kick, which is just high jump kick, but you have a chance of confusion. Leaf Blade is good stab, Trailblaze. And then it also gets some like weird moves. Like, okay, Sleep Powder is one that's ridiculously good, but moves like Upper Hand and Psycho are really good at like removing / changing threats. Because if, say, my opponent has a King Gambit and I just Upper Hand that thing, that he's gonna explode. I don't even think King Gambit got drafted this season, so that's not really relevant, but you know, the idea is the same. Having the Vacuum Wave to deny like an extreme speed user or something like that is still pretty solid. Next up is one of the ones I was kind of looking forward to using in Iron Crown. Iron Crown is one of the new Paradox Pokemon, of course, and it has a solid typing. Steel Psychic is a pretty solid typing. Ground, Fire, like I said, is not a problem. Ground is also kind of not a problem. Kind of more of a problem, but also I have Araquanid, I have Thundurus, I have Lilligant. So I can switch into whatever this needs. And Iron Crown, first of all, it gives me a Booster Energy option. Booster Energy options are really powerful in draft because they're widely adjustable. Like, you can have one that has like 4 different stat boosts, and you don't know which one it will have when you see the team preview. This is a very good example of that, because it has 100 defense, 108 special defense, 122 special attack, and 98 speed. Meaning I can realistically switch between all of those. The only thing that's kind of hard is its attack. While it is a decent attack stat, if I max it out, I am kind of close to every other stat non-invested, so I can invest many other stats. So this is primarily a special attacker, but access to stuff like agility and Calm Mind is really powerful. Its signature move, Tachyon Cutter, is kind of nice for not checking accuracy. It hits twice, so it breaks sashes. And overall just a very solid move. Of course it gets Future Sight, which is a pretty solid move. I can run a more defensive set with Future Sight, Volt Switch, and be very hard to switch into. Stored Power, if I get enough buffs up, it's really powerful. And like, that's just kind of what this does. It's a bulky Pokemon, but it's just specially attacking. And if this gets a setup, it's kind of hard to switch into this. Like an agility plus a booster energy into special attack just kind of spells the end for you. Really, really strong attacks, kind of hard to switch into. They're lucky this isn't a Terra option, because otherwise I would have 100% made this Terra Grass. And that makes it even harder to prepare for, but still a pretty hard Pokemon to prepare for. And again, something you have to, like, respect. A lot of my Pokemon are just that. You have to respect them to do something crazy, and you have to prepare for them. And if you have to prepare for literally everything on my team, you will be unprepared for some of the things on my team. And Iron Crown was overall just one I've been wanting to use. That and Iron Boulder were both on my list of things I wanted to use. Iron Boulder came pretty close, but I really wanted a Steel type to pair with my team. Unlike what you saw, the Skeledirge was not in fact Terra Steel, so I did really need a Steel type on my team. Then, I really needed, like, I still needed a lot of things on my team. Two of the things I wanted were a Prankster immunity and a Grounded Poison. And Quillfish kind of solved that both. It was 12 points, so it was a fairly cheap option. And Quillfish, I never really needed an evolution. This Pokemon still has decent stats, 85 speed, 95 attack, so it offensively can be a threat. While defensively, of course, getting that Intimidate, which is kind of massive, along with having access to Eviolite, doubling its defenses. It's hard to remove, it gets access to Spikes and T-Spikes, making it annoying to deal with. Barb Barrage is a really good signature move, because it has a 50% chance to poison, and then doubles in power if it's poisoned. So I can use this offensively and use it to get poisons, which chip against a team like mine is deadly. If I chip you away with poison and then bring in like an outraging Garchomp, it's kind of just over for you. So really, really solid late pick. I never expected something like this to still be around. At this point, Overcool was a bit too expensive for what I had left. But I'm pretty happy with Quillfish itself. Quillfish, great defensive typing, Dark Poison, not hit by too many Pokemon. And yeah, Destiny Bond, also something you kind of have to respect. Like, if I just Destiny Bond, you lose your really good Pokemon for a Quillfish. So, that's kind of brutal. No Terra option, that I didn't have the Terra point left for this. Fun thing this gets is Swords Dance Skill Shot. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Skill Shot. So I can do the same thing with Garchomp I can do with this. I can set up a Swords Dance, click Skill Shot, click Barb Barrage, and be a threat offensively, which you wouldn't expect from a quote-unquote baby Pokemon. But this one, like I said, it's solid. It's really, really solid, and Eviolite just kind of pushes that further. And then the last card, you always know the last card in a pack is gonna be something good. Like, I already took out the energy, and you always know it's gonna be like a holo or a rare card or something like really, really solid. So let's see. Oh, yes, okay. We hit with this pack. This is a really good final card to end it on. We have the boy, Furret. Furret is here. Because I finally got to draft it. It's 2 points. It's really cheap. It's the mascot. It's a Terra option. Terra Normal, Terra Ghost, and Terra Stellar. Stellar specifically because look at the amount of coverage this Pokemon gets. Gets all the elemental punches. Play rough. If you remember last season, it gets Dig, which you wouldn't expect to put in work. It gets Shadow Claw, which Terra Ghost can take excellent advantage of. Not to mention that, specially, it also gets some really good options. It gets Tidy Up now, which is a good hazard removal option. I don't have a Defogger. I have a Rapid Spinner, but I don't have a Defogger, so now I have Tidy Up to help me remove hazards. And just overall, it's Furret. Like, does it need more? Super Fang. really, really useful Pokemon. Like I said, if I get Chip on your team, it's just kind of over. And Super Fang is one of those things that are really good for that. Knockoff, also very useful. Stab, Terra Normal, Quick Attack. Hear me out. Yeah, okay, I know it's Furret and it's not that great, but finally getting to play with my boy is amazing, and I love it so much. Of course, I don't think Battle Pass, maybe Dry Passing is allowed. I'll have to check that. Otherwise, Battle Pass is just not an option. But yeah, Furret is just a cool final one to have. It's my boy, and we're gonna make him put in work, and this is gonna be a fun season. I got some really cool stuff from this pack, and I'm pretty happy with how this draft went. And I'm looking incredibly forward to this next season of the ATBA. Like I said, this is well, I didn't say that. I'm losing the script. Where is my script? I did not write one. Alright. Really excited for this. The Wi-Fi draft has been one of the most fun things to do on my channel, and I'm really happy that it's back. So, look forward to seeing the first match, probably next week. And with that, I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.